Hello English 11 students, and welcome to the video for week 9, day 1. This video is for those students who were absent from our live Zoom class. Please make sure you open Canvas in another tab or window as we follow along in this video. Remember, everything you say, do, or type is recorded, so keep it school appropriate. And as always, there's no saving, downloading, or taking pictures of our lesson this week or ever. All right, so today we worked on the peer editing activity. And for those students who didn't finish the narrative rough draft from last week, you had time to work on that and turn it in by the end of the period to earn a grade of 50%. After that, there is no opportunity to make up that grade. So one of the things, these reminders are still the same with one exception, right? All assignments are normally due at the end of the live Zoom session, except the deadline for this week's activity is that peer edit, which is 3 p.m. on Saturday. And I'll talk about why that gets extended to Saturday instead of Wednesday. Student support is still from 2:45 to 3:15 on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and office hours are on Wednesdays. Move on to the next thing. So if you go to the home page and you click on this week's dates, you will see an item that says peer editing activity. If you turned in your rough draft last week, if that's what you're working on, please go ahead and click on that now. If you didn't turn in and finish your rough draft, please make sure that you do that now. You need to make sure you're turning in a completed draft, right? Your story should have a beginning, middle, and end. There should be conflict in it. All right. And your conflict should have some kind of resolution, right? Either everything goes back to normal or your characters' lives are changed forever. All right, if you take a look at the peer editing activity, it looks like this. There are basically 3 steps that you need to do to complete this, right? The first thing you need to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom of the document and look at the chart, either the period 2 or the period 6 chart, to see which story you are responsible for reading and doing a peer edit for, right? So all the stories are numbered. Then they're all in this document, but you don't read every single story. You should find your name on the chart and then look where it says story number and then find that story. Once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is to make your life a little easier instead of having to scroll up and down, is go to that story and just copy and paste it into this square that says my assigned story, right? Again, that'll kind of cut down on having to scroll up and down constantly. To copy, right, highlight your story number, right, the entire story, hit Control-C, scroll back up to this box, put the cursor in the box, and then hit Control-V. Okay. Then the last thing that you need to do is you read the story and answer the questions that you see here on the left, right? The questions are, who is the main character of your assigned story, right? Not your story that you wrote, but the one that you're assigned to do a peer edit for, right? So who is that story's main character? What type of conflict does your assigned story have, right? Is it person versus person versus society, or person versus self? And then describe it briefly, right? In your own words. What does that conflict look like in the story? What is the climax of your assigned story, right? Or the most dramatic, life-changing kind of event or a thing in the story? And then the last item for here, right? It says describe how your assigned story ends, right? Does everything kind of return to normal? Explain how. Or is their character's life forever changed? And explain how. Okay. Then the last thing that you're going to do is another piece of like copying and pasting and then some advice. So the first part is you identify one part of your assigned story that could be improved, right? And you copy it from the story and you paste it in this box. So as something to kind of focus on, you could basically kind of ask yourself, where could the author have shown you something rather than just telling you something, right? What is that one part that could be improved from their story? Copy and paste it there. And then the final task, right, part 2, is to give them advice on how they could do that. You don't have to write the actual revision for them. Just give them an idea of how they would go about doing it. If you want to see a sample, right, I have a hyperlinked see sample, completed sample there. When you click on that, you'll see that I read through a story, right, and I identified that the story's main character was Brian. It had person versus person conflict, and I explained what that conflict looked like. I explain what the climax of the story was. I explain how the story ends. And then again, that final part here, this part right here, it just says more specifically, Brian tripped over Julius's new shoes. They were cool looking. They were stylish, right? So that's just telling me, right? Instead of showing me. So my advice to them would be, describe the cool looking shoes. What color and style are they? What makes them stylish, right? Hopefully when the person reads my feedback, they could answer those questions and improve that part of their story. And just like you see here, right, I copied and pasted the assigned story that I was supposed to peer edit in the box. And that's basically it for the peer edit, right? If you have questions, you could email me, or you could attend student support, or you could come to office hours. But basically, that's all you needed to work on for the peer edit, and then just make sure that you turn it in. For those of you who are still working on the rough draft, or if you finish the peer edit and you're ready to kind of make some changes or you want to add to your story, right? These are the directions for using voice typing. You can pause this video and kind of keep this in front of you while you go. We did this last week to make things go faster. And then for those of you who are done with your rough draft and you need to done with the rough draft, you're done with the peer edit, and it's time for you to go back and start working on your final draft, right? I would pause this video and leave this sample of dialogue on the screen, right? Again, now the rough draft, right? There were no points taken off if you got this stuff wrong, but in the final draft, there will be. So you want to make sure that you're following all 4 of these rules, right? Quotes that go around the words that are spoken by our characters. Start a new line every time there's a new speaker. Excuse me. The punctuation, right? Like this question mark or this period or this comma, right? They go inside the quote. And then there should always be a comma between the attribution, right? The thing that says who said it and what is actually said. And that's it. So again, at this point, you are doing one of these 2 things, right? Either you're completing and turning in your peer edit, or you are working on that rough draft so you can earn your 50%. If you need help or you need some extra time, please make sure that you attend student support from 2:45 to 3:15. Again, that's on Mondays and Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, or you can attend the office hours on Wednesday. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you soon in class.